Good morning. Today we're going to be talking about how I applied for CAMC in more depth because in my last video I kind of breezed through it, but I didn't actually bring you through the steps. So step one is to know your dates. So every year they drop some dates for CAMC part 1 and part 2. We really didn't have that many dates. I decided to go with the April 24 date, right? And I knew this from the year before. So I think it was December. I think the next one was March and April. I don't know. I don't remember. I will have to look back on the picture. Then after knowing your dates, next important thing is what form do you use to apply, right? So this is the form that I used. And a lot of people were worried because they're wondering if they can use an old form because that's what we were getting, like that's what we were seeing. There was no website that gave us an up-to-date form, and yes, it's okay. You can just alter the date. You can just like literally change the date from 2024 to 2025 or whatever you're applying to sit CAMC. And the first thing they're going to ask you to fill out is the demographics, nationality, and they're going to ask you what university you qualified at, right? What school did you go to? So you're going to put that, the date of your graduation, or the date that you received your qualifications for MBBS. And you're going to have to tell them if you're employed, you should put like how long you been employed, and are you under special, provisional, or locum intern. I am a locum intern, so I ticked that. And if you have attempted part 1 of the exam before, you need to also let them know. And if you have attempted part 2, you also need to let them know that. And they're going to ask you if you're only completing just the clinical part of the exam. If you did CAMC part 1, you need to let them know where did you take that exam, right? Was it in Jamaica? Was it in Trinidad? Was it in Cayman or St. Lucia? And if you passed USMLE 1 and 2, where did you sit that? And if you did PLAB 1, where did you sit that? All right, you need to tell them the centers and also leave your signature. And then at the bottom, they have a little thing saying that the fee of part 1 is USD $600, okay? And part 2 is $700 US. And candidates are allowed 3 attempts at clinical part 2 exam before having to resit part 1. So say you do part 1 and you passed it and you attempted part 2 twice, you're going to only have 1 more shot at that part 2 exam before they tell you to resit, like to start over from part 1. So a lot of people don't know that, but you only have 3 tries at part 2. An administrative cost of 15% is required if absent from the exam with adequate notice, but entire amount is forfeited if absent with short or no notice. So you won't be getting your refund. So after you fill out your form, what you're going to do is you're going to send an email to medcojam@cwjamaica.com. And I said, good morning, I am Alexa Bernard, a Jamaican locum intern that is hoping to sit CAMC part 1 on April 2025 if possible. And I sent them the application form as well as a passport picture of myself in that email, and that's all. So I decided I wanted to do the exam April 24. I applied from February 18. So let's keep the dates like up here. Then they actually emailed me back on March 26, which is like 5 weeks later. I applied really early, like 2 months. And so they replied to me 5 weeks later, and then they said, this serves to confirm your receipt of application for your confirmation of the April 24 sitting. You will be notified as soon as there are updates from the chief examiner, as well as when to pay the exam fees. Because that's we just wanted to know when to pay, when's the deadline. That's the next big thing that you need to know. And so the deadline for payment for me, was 20 days before the exam, right? So the 24th of April was my exam day. Asked for payment 20 days before that. So like around, even months, April 2. Yeah. And then, so we pay 20 days before, and then a week before the exam, they email us again with our username and password that we will need to log into the UE exam portal, because you're doing the exam at UE on a computer. It's computer based, and so you're going to have to use their platform. So they kind of make up a password and they make up a username for you, and that will be what you use to log into the exam. And they also have like a practice exam when you log in, so they'll tell you to log in before the exam, and you'll see like a little practice exam that you can take just to get yourself familiar with how it looks on the screen. And as I was saying in my previous video, it looks just like how the UE MBBS papers look. If you're wondering, I forgot to show this. I paid to give you a little receipt. So I paid 100,000 Jamaican dollars. Well, my friend paid for me. Along with the username and password, they also sent a document, and it's just the exam, like the online MCQ exam instructions, which you're telling me that, hey girl, you have your exam April 24th on a Thursday. Paper 1 will start 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. So yes, you have CAMC on one day, but it's split up into two. So you have the part 1 exam from 9 to 12 p.m. Then you get a little break, a 1 hour break, because the part 2 of the exam starts from 1 to 4. So 9 to 12, 1 to 4. Being provided with a unique CAMC ID and secure password for the exam. This exam password is personalized to you. Please take a note of it, as you will not be able to see the exam without this information. Don't share it with anybody else. And they gave us the UE exam portal like link. And candidates are strongly advised to log in and test your account before the exam. Failure to do so will affect your chance of completing the exam. 2. Candidates must provide a photo ID and their CAMC ID before commencing the exam. That is true, because when we went upstairs, because it's on the first floor, when we went up there, there's a lady sitting at the door, and she had like a paper with everybody's name, and you should sign your name, like you put your signature. And then she asks to see your ID, so you can give your driver's license, your passport. Tell me why I forgot to bring my ID. Actually, my ID is always in my purse, the purse that I brought in the bag, right? But I traveled a couple weeks before, and so I took the ID out and put it into a next purse. And then I forgot that I put it back into this purse, and I hid it in the purse from my usual spot. So like when I was looking in it on the day, I couldn't find it, and I started to freak out. But then I always have a picture of my IDs on my phone, and that was acceptable. So please remember to bring your ID. Candidates must arrive at their respective exam sites half hour before the exam starts. Oh, next important thing is that all you guys are sitting in that room will not get the same paper. Everybody's like exam is tailored to them, and it's just, say they have like 500 questions in their question bank CAMC, right? They're going to randomly assort those questions to people in the exam. So you might get the same couple of questions that your friend gets, but it's not the same paper. All right. So one important thing that I recommend this, after you get out of that morning exam, go and mix and mingle with your friend them. If you have enough, like if you're not like overstimulated from the exam, mix and mingle. Ask them what comes for them paper, ask them what comes on their paper. Let me speak English. And make a note of that and look up the answers, because there's a chance that it will come back on your evening paper, which it did for me. All right. And I have a lot of friends that said the exam, so I was going down, I was writing it down, I was making my little jottings, and like, all right, so this is the answer for that if they ask me for that. This is the answer for that if they ask me for this. So, yeah. Yeah, don't worry. It's pretty chill. It's a pretty chill exam. They have like a couple, of course they're gonna have invigilators, and it's very quiet, very chill. But as I said, if you're finished with the exam, I would recommend just rechecking the paper and then leaving to go and get lunch, right? Because the lines can get pretty long at lunchtime, and an hour goes by really quickly. I plan to make a video on actually I can just add it in this video. No, I'm going to make a separate video on one of the resources that I missed out in my last video, which was Stop Pearls, which I really recommend. Actually, I'll just show you now. So this is, I had it as an app, And what it would do is you can actually build your own quiz, and you can choose how many questions that you want to take at a time, and then you can choose if it's you want to take it in test mode, so you just select an answer and move on to the next question, or teaching mode, which they will tell you, okay, no, the answer you selected was wrong, this is why it's wrong, and this is why the other answer was right. So let's go through this question. A 7-year-old boy is brought to the hospital by his dad for difficulty standing. Difficulty standing. That's a red flag. The father says that this is his son's first visit to the pediatrician. Okay, he states that his son has difficulty standing up from a seated position. So I would underline that because that's a next red flag, and prefers crawling over walking. This child is 7. That's a red flag. He explains that his son is adopted and he has no information about his biological parents. So there's some genetic thing that we need to question here. The patient's past medical history and vaccination status are also unknown. Exams show vital signs are within normal limits. That's good. Bilateral hypertrophied calves are observed. Now from this said that this child has difficulty standing, okay, and he has bilateral hypertrophied calves. I'm already thinking this child has Duchenne muscular atrophy. Okay, Duchenne, yeah, definitely. Gower sign is observed. That's definitive. This child has Duchenne, because Gower sign is basically when the child would stand up and the child would have difficulty standing up because their leg muscles are so weak, so they kind of climb up. They use their hands to help them steady themselves and find their balance. So that's what I would go with here in this question. And the answers are A, MRI spine, B, workup for metabolic disease, assessment of CK, phosphokinase, or genetic testing. What is the next best step in the diagnosis of this patient? Definitely gene testing, because you don't know the biological parents. And so yeah, pseudohypertrophy of the calves and Gower sign suggest a diagnosis of Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Oh my gosh, I said atrophy. Thank you so much for sitting here and listening to me yap away about this exam. I just want to share as much information about these little things, because it's so hard to get information on this exam. For what reason? You'd think that there would be an exam website where you could get this information, but no, you have to be like asking people, trying to figure out where to get CAMC papers from, try to figure out the date, try to figure out everything. It's so annoying, and that's one thing that I don't like with it. It's kind of, let me not go there. Let me not go there. I'm not gonna go there in this video because I'm coming for them. Yeah, but I hope this video helps you, and at least you know what to expect. All right, and if you have any more questions, you can always leave it in the comment section. Some of you guys actually prefer to text me on Telegram, which is okay. I'll reply whenever I have free time. All right,